On this week's episode, we buzz on over to Eastern Ohio to meet an Ecot teacher with a sweet hobby, and we reveal your top 3 at-work selfie pics and responses. I'm Ecot 5th grader Ingrid Latimer, and the new ECOTtv starts right now.
Hi, I'm Sean McCready. Welcome to the McCready Farm, where we keep bees. My family has owned this farm for about 100 years. My grandfather actually kept bees when I was a lot younger. We started with just a couple small hives, and we've grown, and we have several hives now that we help take care of. When you think of bees, the first thing you think of is being stung by bees, and beekeepers aren't immune to being stung by bees. That's why we wear a lot of protective gear. The first thing we wear are long pants and shoes, and we also wear a bee veil. I've got a full-length coat with full sleeves, and I can zip up the veil so that the bees can't get in and sting me on my face. I also wear protective gloves to make sure that they can't sting my hands while I'm working in the beehives. The first tool that we use is a smoker, and what you want to do with this is when you open up the hive, a lot of times the bees will kind of come at you. You can smoke them and they'll go deeper into the hive. One thing that bees do great is create wax, and they create wax seals around everything to keep the rain out, to keep the cold air out. The lid, they will glue down with wax so it's hard to take off, so it's really important to have a hive tool. So when we look at a beehive, there are several boxes on a beehive. The top 2 boxes are smaller, and those are actually going to be the honey supers. The bottom boxes are the brood boxes. That's where the bee eggs and the bee larvae are going to be housed. The top 2 boxes are just where the honey's housed. When you're getting into a beehive, the first thing you need to do is take off the outer lid. That's pretty easy to do. Once you do that, you have to take off the inner lid. And that's when your hive tool comes in handy, because it's pretty well glued on there by the beeswax. Once you open it up, you'll see several frames lined up next to each other, and inside those frames will either be honey if you're in a honey super, or it'll be honey and some brood or bee eggs in the bottom frames. When we think of bees, often we think of them as being pests. But bees are actually really important to our environment. They're pollinators. They pollinate all of our fruits and vegetables that we eat. The way that the bees pollinate the plants are, as they're going into the flowers to get the nectar, they collect pollen on their legs, and then they move from flower to flower, pollinating the plants. Once it leaves the bee's body into the frames, they will leave the nectar uncapped until it dehydrates enough till it's that kind of sticky substance that we know as honey before it's capped. Now, once we have our honeycomb out of the boxes, we can bring it back into the barn or wherever, and we can start using our spinner on it. And what we'll do is we'll uncap the honeycomb, and then we'll place it in a spinner, and we'll turn the crank, and the crank will turn the honeycomb inside, and it'll force the honey out, and it'll collect it into the bottom of the vat. So after we've got the honey spun out and extracted, we can strain it and put it in one of our filling buckets, and we can actually fill up our honey and have it ready to sell.
Who thought working to make honey could be that interesting? And speaking of work, last week we asked you to tell us how having a job while attending Ecot is helping you to prepare for your future. Here are the top 3 selfies and responses. Emily writes, "Having a job and getting an education is important for my future because it is helping me to become independent in life." Cheyenne says, "I am a full-time mommy juggling school and a 6-day-week job. That gets stressful, but I know at the end of the day, my son's happy, the bills are paid, and I'm making a better future for our family by doing so. And our final response comes from Princess Tiana on Facebook, who says, I work on the Bob Evans crew, and I get more hours and still get the education I need. First full year at Ecot and ready to graduate. And now, let's take a look at a new segment called Ecot Eats. With Veterans Day being this week, for our next question, we want to know, who is a veteran that has made a difference in your life and why? You can respond by messaging us in the Ecot Message Center, Twitter, Instagram, or Vine.
Why I got you on my mind? You think you know somebody? Why I got you on my mind? You think you know somebody? Why I got you on my mind? You think you know somebody?
Each month, Ecot recognizes some of our fellow classmates with the Student of the Month award. These students are nominated by their teachers for all their hard work and achievements. Here are this month's award winners. Be sure to look for ECOTtv this week at SkyMax in Canton, where we will be looking for a few students to participate in a head-to-head high-flying competition. Well, that's all for now. Until next time, I'm Ingrid Latner, and have a great week.